I'd like to explain something before I begin. These few videos on my channel are my first videos ever on YouTube, ever doing this. I know they need to be edited. I'm learning to do that now. So for now, please bear with me. And here we go on the Iridescent Pearl. The Iridescent Pearl by Donna Angel. The Iridescent Pearl, dedicated to Leah, Travis, and Zane. This is the story of the two snakes, the caduceus, the two dragons, a lotus, a pearl, and one woman. Oh yes, and the rest of humanity. Part 1, Children's Fable. Part 2, Meditation Session with Visions, which was the inspiration for the story. The Iridescent Pearl. One dragon had come from the deepest places of the earth, so deep that though she had also come through water, she was still on fire. She held a pearl tightly between her teeth that she had found in the depths. She knew it was for men. They needed them. This one, however, was even more special. The monkey. The monkey. I forgot to mention the monkey. He has lived with the dragon for a long time. He likes the smoke from the dragon and watches it make rings that float into the sky. He was sitting on the back of the dragon as she flew. She reached the last ridge of a very formidable mountain. She was ecstatic. The fire dragon. The dragon. As the large, beautiful dragon shone in the sunlight, she contemplated the meanings behind all of the symbols and languages before her. The caduceus. She saw two symbols by the ridge. What are they for? Two snakes, black and white. We are back to black and white, she thought. Yin, yang. The caduceus. She noticed people traveling up the ridge and the snakes alongside them. Up and down, back and forth they go. Some sat and meditated. They sat and sat while thinking long and hard. Meditation. The chakras. The monkey. As the dragon was looking at everything that was going on, the monkey took advantage of the dragon's distraction and snatched the pearl right out of the dragon's tooth. He thought it was a funny game, and he began to clap his hands and laugh. The dragon was not amused at all and whipped her tail quicker than you could even see, and the pearl went flying into a nearby lotus pond. The monkey heard a splash as the pearl hit the water. The monkey thought certainly the pearl was at the bottom of the pond. The monkey began to walk away sadly and slowly. Then he was seen running over the ridge very quickly from the dragon's angry fire. The monkey didn't know the pearl went into a lotus bud still under the mud. The lotus was a very special lotus bud. It was pink and orange like a beautiful sunrise. It just so happened that a bad baby dragon was swimming by and heard the plop as the pearl was whipped into the water by the large dragon's tail. The little dragon looked then looked in the mud for the pearl and couldn't find it. This is the baby dragon. This dragon was different. She had the colors of a purple and red dragonfly. She had never seen anyone who looked like her before. After a very long time of searching for the pearl, she decided she needed to take a rest. She found her cave and fell fast asleep. Dragons sleep for a very long time. Baby dragons sleep even longer. By the time she woke up, it was no longer spring. It was early summer. When she woke up, she was surprised to find her new wings. They were so brilliant in the sunshine. She used them to swim first. She loved to swim. The little dragon and the lotus. Being is the only thing to be here. Doing is the only thing to do now. The little dragon. After a short time, she took to the skies above her little pond. She noticed something shining in the sunlight. She wanted to go see what it was. It was inside a lotus blossom. She found the pearl. It must have fallen into a lotus bud. The lotus had opened while she slept. The lotus. The iridescent pearl. The pearl was beautiful. It had a sheen that she had never seen before. She must give it to someone. That's all she knew. Who? She decided she would give it away as soon as she found someone who loved it too. The iridescent pearl. The iridescent pearl. She knew from living here, though, that hardly anyone passed this way, and when they did, they already had a pearl and went straight up the small path to her right. She noticed the other way, which went part way up the mountain. It was always very crowded. It was the path that had the signs with the symbols on it. Those people didn't have pearls, but they didn't want one. They liked their signs, and they liked their paths and the people on their path with them. She would wait. Dragons knew how to wait. Sadly, she kept waiting for a very long time. She became an adult dragon, and she was still waiting. The woman. One day, she was looking at her reflection in the small pond, and she saw a blind woman come to the water's edge. The woman could hear her breathing, but could not see her. Her sight was totally black. Her hearing and other senses, however, took over in place of her eyes. She sat at the edge of the clear water and took a drink. She had been up and down the path with the symbols so many times she was getting weary and feeling old. She felt like she had tried every path that she could find, only to find herself not quite to the top. She wondered, can my blindness be stopping me? Then she noticed the dragon's breath. Wise one, the woman began, why do you sit here alone? The woman smiled and said, yes, I can tell that you are a dragon. I may be blind. The dragon said, I must do something before I can leave here and go to the mountains of dragons. What is it? The woman asked. I must give something to someone who loves it as much as I do, the dragon explained. What is it? The woman asked. A pearl of unparalleled beauty. I have never seen anything so exquisite in my entire life, the dragon told her. The woman was beside herself with joy, and the dragon became puzzled. The woman asked if the pearl was blue and green with iridescence. The dragon thought, Iridescence? That's what you call it. Yes, woman. You know this pearl? I found one like that one, or its twin, when I was a young girl. A nasty monkey stole it right out of my hand one day, and I held it to look at it. He jumped down from a branch in a tree, snatched it, and ran back to the tree, laughing at me. I became so sad I could no longer see. She began to cry. The dragon remembered so many years ago when she had been little and had so loved the pearl. Her heart swelled. She put the pearl in the woman's hand. A smile broke out on her face that was filled with peace and complete joy. The woman, she found peace and joy once more. The iridescent pearl. The dragon knew what she had to do at that moment. She scooped the woman up and brought her to the small path where others carried pearls up the last ridge to the very top of the mountain. The dragon explained that this was the last path she promised. The Iridescent Pearl, Part 2. 2 Visions. The Dream. I had a strong meditation where I saw a man being given a pearl from someone in the mud. I called out to the man, "Who are you?" He turned and began his ascent up the mountain, and as he got higher, snow began to fall on him as he climbed. I lost sight of him as an older Oriental man to my left caught my eye. I realized I lost sight of the man going up the mountain. The dream. Right after that, I saw yin-yang, but it was more of a slurpy inconsistency, and it was yellow and purple. I'm not sure why I said this was a dream. I'm sorry. I'm going to edit the book. This was a meditation, vision. Interpretation. The person in the mud was me. If it's meditation, the person in the mud is not me. Or is it me? I have no idea. In a dream, everyone is me. I was in the mud handing the pearl to the man, who, as visions or dreams often have it, would be me too. His travel up the mountain was to go see Jesus at the top, to give him his pearl as a key for the pearly gates. I became distracted by the Oriental man, and he represents the myriad paths I have already traveled. Interpretation continued. The yellow and purple fluid yin-yang were with the dream but separated. The yin-yang had no boundaries, and I was more fluid than a circle, and it was more fluid than a circle. And was more fluid than a circle. The fluid was not smooth, it had a lumpy consistency. End of vision. The trouble with some of these paths, I was talking with an energy worker from one energy form. There are many kinds and types I have noticed. She said one of the bad points of her profession was that it makes her poo all the time. I'm thinking, does she, through the matter, somehow gather other people's negative aspects? That's horrible. I'd be down in the dumps. Energy and matter. I had a vision of this woman's work before I came in contact with her. In my vision, I came up from my level of the pit, covered in so many black negative things that I felt covered as in an impenetrable armor. She then picked each one off me, and she does this for many, many people. Energy and matter. Afterwards, I heard a man so gently say to me as he pulled me up, "Come here, my child. I haven't seen whose arm it is yet. I can guess." I felt the last few being picked off. I knew they were evil malevolence being picked off. Now I know who took them off. I think they're angels. So that's, now I know who took them off. I don't know. I think they're angels. I think the arm was God or Jesus. The iridescent pearl. The end.